As a lot of you may know, I've been sort of thinking about like how to constitutionally reform the planet, or how to constitutionally reform certain organisations within, say, the West, like the EU, turn it into like some sort of European Federation or something like this, whereby it represents a closer union, I suppose, of nation states. However, the basic structure of the EU would remain roughly the same, with free movement and so on, and European Parliament and what have you. Um, I suppose really what it would represent is just sort of the major innovation would be is a sort of European Union without really the possibility of leaving it, and really instead of nation states, what those would become within the European Union is more like jurisdictions, or more like American states in the way that they operate. And you get these like blusteries of right wing types of saying, "Oh, it would be the United States of Europe." It's like, well, what is so wrong with that? I mean, the United States is an incredibly powerful country, and I'm just so tempted to say that, while the European Union is the world's largest single market, the world's largest trading bloc, it does exhibit a sort of conspicuous disunity, does it not? And it is somewhat internally fractious and competitive, I think, perhaps on a level. Oh, they want a European army. It's like, why not let them have that? Like, is that a problem as such? And like all these sorts of things, and it just got me thinking, like, why not for that matter have an international federation? Let people from any part of the world go to any other part of the world, and they can come here, we can go there. And it's like, if it's, for instance, I know Italian people or French people getting very irate about migrants arriving in their countries, but like, well, you can go to their countries. People are leaving their countries. Like, land will be cheap there. You can go live in Africa, buy some land, buy a few turbines to power your little homestead, have some hydroponic agriculture going on, and just live comfortably. I might do that, actually. Yeah, I might. I might go to Kenya or somewhere, or Ethiopia, or Ghana, wherever's popping in Africa. Like when I'm about 40, like whatever money I've got, beautiful African wife, like, or several like mistresses. I don't know. Yeah, just live out my days of like comfortably like on a veranda, sort of farming this and that in sort of hydroponics. I'd have to go somewhere with legal weed, so it might actually well be India, not Africa. Unless like we get international weed legalization, I think we could have an international federation to sort of, and I've just been watching Star Trek, that's actually what made me think of it a little bit. To synchronise the sort of the process of crafting legislation and so on and so forth, and we could connect it all to the international institutions that we already have, like the ICJ and this, that, and the other, and all the various bodies of the UN. On a level, it's a sort of rebranding, but I think so adding in the free movement element of it, we get a movement all over the globe of people. You get diasporas, sure, in the short term, but ultimately it would balance, I think, and ultimately it would lead, I think, to a very different style of living and a very different way of. It would mix people together more. It would blend cultures, and people would inform one another of different ways of doing things. It would break down barriers between industry and technology and these sorts of things entering different parts of the world and generating prosperity there. And I think it's really, and also there's the possibility of it reducing the possibility for conflict, like what the EU has frankly been very successful at achieving, and that is a major reason to do this. Cut down on like the natural animosities between people, racism, and so on, and I think it could be a wonderful thing, But yeah, it's always like clinging to a sense of national identity. Like in Britain, it's just the most ridiculous thing in Britain. What is our national identity? Are we Neolithic? Are we Roman? Are we Anglo-Saxon? Are we Viking? Are we Norman? And then it's like, what's the difference really between Norman and Roman? We got invaded by the Romans, and then Years later, then Anglo-Saxons, Germanic offshoots of Germanic tribes, people who fought the Romans came, settled here. Then the Romans came back in the new rebranded form of the Normans. It's the same fucking shit. And for this reason, Britain's sort of one of the, what's a colonial outpost? Is the most colonised, one of the more colonised bits of Europe, isn't it? There's no cohesive national identity at all in Britain. It's very fractured. And I don't, and everyone's like, oh, we don't want one world government. It's like, why the fuck don't you want one world government? It would be a government of governments. By the way, we fucking have it already, basically. Like, the UN is a sort of world government. And it's always like David, like hippie, weird types. I don't want new world orders, though. Well, it's the world order that we got at the moment so fucking brilliant, really. Doesn't it need like a bit of like reform? Hard reform, not gradualist. So like we're gonna have a constitution for the planet. So think about what that might be and following it and adhering to it. And that would, I think, be like the sort of termination of this Francis Fukuyama idea, isn't it? This gradual and implacable rise of democratic politics. Have the constitution, have the core principles of your democracy set in stone, or set in rather rigid terms. Obviously not discounting exceptions potentially to that constitution. Not having sort of absolutist laws. I've been watching bits of Picard. I love Picard. He's better than Kirk. Picard's a man of culture. Kirk's a good old boy. Kirk's a yahoo compared to Picard. But yeah, and trying our best to adhere to that set of principles. But yeah, applied internationally, we can move freely between anywhere on the planet. That'd be wonderful. I think we should do this.